Hello everyone and welcome to Tuesday. Today we are going to chat a little bit about the BioShock Let's Play that just debuted over on Steven Plays, but we're also going to talk a little bit about how I recorded that. Specifically, we are going to be discussing recording a computer with an Elgato HD60. And that's not the typical way you would record something on the computer. Since the dawn of YouTube, and specifically now that gaming content's really been taking off, people want to show off video games on the internet, on YouTube. And when they do a computer game, it's most likely that they're going to choose screen capture software. They're going to use something like Fraps or DxTory. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Camtasia, Open Broadcasting software, OBS. I think that'll also record your screen. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about recording your screen and displaying your screen and putting it on the internet. The problem with screen capture software specifically is that your computer's already trying to play a game. So now your computer's trying to play a game, and then you tell it, hey, in addition to playing this game, now you gotta record the game. And that can be hard on the computer, especially because oftentimes you may find that you can handle a game on high or even ultra settings, but when you go to record it, suddenly you're getting choppiness. It's not running at a smooth 60 frames a second. Now it's like, it's not doing so hot, so you have to lower the settings, which defeats the purpose of playing at the higher settings. You wanted to be able to showcase, you know, the game at high settings or ultra settings, and suddenly you have to dumb it down to something that looks maybe worse than a console would. So that kind of sucks. I have gotten around that by using this. This is an Elgato HD60. We got this about 9 months ago, and we've been using it for a lot of the console stuff that we record. And the sole purpose of this device is to record HDMI 1080p content at 60 frames a second. That is the purpose of this device. If you don't need to record 1080p content at 60 frames a second, there's a different Elgato called, I think, just Game Capture. It'll do every other format imaginable. And it takes HDMI and component and composite. It takes everything. But if you're looking to do 1080p 60, this is the device that you want. There's a few other devices on the market that aren't Elgato products that will also do that, but this is probably the most reliable and maybe the cheapest that I've found, and it gives great quality video. If you have watched anything that we've done on Steven Plays in the past 9 months, and it's been presented to you at 1080p, 60 frames a second, this is what did it. So if you were impressed with that, you have this to thank. So yeah, generally when you record a computer game, you use screen capture software. But because it's going to put a load on the computer to do two things, I thought, why not use a capture device? And I've had this idea for a while, but I didn't get around to actually trying it until a few days ago. I was like, you know what, I know that this is theoretically possible. Let's see if I can get it to work. So it took me a few tries, and the problem I ran into, maybe you won't, but I did, was that it would not pick it up as a screen unless it was plugged up when I started the computer. So if anyone has had problems getting this to work, that's my fix. You have an input and an output for your HDMI. Obviously, for your in, you're going to plug up the HDMI out from your computer. I am running a Hackintosh. I have a GTX 670 GPU in there. It's got HDMI out, so I put that into the in slot. And then on the out, I plugged it up to a television. And I'm not 100% sure, but it seems likely that you probably have to have that plugged up to an external display, either a television or a monitor or something. Because what happens is when you turn the computer on, if it's plugged up to an external display, if it's without this in the equation, just into the external display, it reads it as a display. If you then unplug it and plug this up, this isn't a display. And it doesn't read it as a display. And when I go and try to use this as a pass-through to the television, it still doesn't know it's a display. Only when I have it hooked up and start the computer is it read as a display. And the computer will tell you your displays and the model numbers or whatever, or the model of the display, so it'll tell me that my TV is hooked up. But if this is in the equation, when I start my computer, it says my third monitor is an Elgato. That's how you know it's working. So after I had that hooked up, it was fine. It just read it as a third display. So all I did was mirror my display. So what was on my main screen where I was going to play my game, and my third screen, which is what the Elgato was recording, was the same. And then I just treated it like a normal Let's Play and a normal recording. And you know what? It worked great. And this is good because this allows you theoretically to play games at a higher setting because it's taking some of the load off the computer and putting more of the load onto the box. And it worked. And I was very, very happy with the result. The first few episodes of BioShock were recorded, and I looked through them, and I said, you know what, this is great. So if anyone out there is thinking about doing some computer games, certainly there are options out there. Fraps or DX3 or Camtasia, I think it's called Camtasia, open broadcast software, all those things are options. But if you're like me, and you were having problems using some of those other options because you're specifically trying to get to 60 frames and that was giving you trouble, consider this, because this worked out really, really well for me. And also if you're doing console gaming, or at least relatively new console gaming, Xbox One, PS4, Wii U, this is the box that you want, the Elgato HD60. We've been using it for a few months, very happy with it. Now even happier than ever with it that it can do computer games. Also tested it on the Mac side. Same issue, it has to be hooked up when you start, but it does work. And I definitely recommend it. Anyway, that is going to be it for today. If you have any questions related to this, related to hooking things up, ask them below and I'll do my best to answer them. Maybe sometime in the future, if you guys are interested, I'll do a review of like the HD60 versus the normal Elgato versus, we have another device called the Blackmagic Intensity Pro, and I can talk about some of the differences there. But if you are looking to do 1080p 60 content, this is the device you want. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we? In addition to that, Mao has a haircut, but we're not doing 2 haircut haikus. They're hard to come up. You know what? Sure, 2 haircut haikus. Also, this is really cool. Just wanted to throw that out there.
And say it again. And say it again.
The imagination necessary to come up with so many elements of this game thus far. An impeccable creativity.